Welcome to Q and AAA with Jared Shaffrin here, alongside Rob Concannon, the president of the South Carolina Stingrays. Happy to bring this to you, answer a few frequently asked questions that we've had from some fans. And before we start, we want to really thank AAA and Finn's Car Wash, great partners of ours, for sponsoring this and making sure that we can answer any questions that you guys have. We're looking forward to the 2020-21 season. A lot of excitement around the Stingrays lately. And Rob, we're going to start off actually by going back to last season, 2019-20. Fans have a couple questions on what happened and how we're kind of restoring things after the quick end to last season. And first question we got, does the ECHL intend on naming a Brayton Cup champion? I know the Stingrays finished in a tie with Florida in the standings and had the tiebreaker, but nothing announced on that. Was there any discussion of that after the season?
There was a little bit of discussion, but for numerous reasons, it just didn't feel right from the league's perspective. Nor did the team want to, become Brayton Cup champs by quote unquote asterisk or default by, with the season ending in March. The goal every year is to win the Kelly Cup. And as we all know, because of the unfortunate circumstances with the COVID, we weren't able to finish the regular season, nor we were able to complete for the Kelly Cup. So it was discussed a little bit with the ECHL and internally, but the verdict was that it wasn't going to be awarded, nor did we really want to accept it either.
You guys have been busy preparing, building a roster, and trying to get everything safe to play again. Some fans may have seen the announcement that the ECHL made a few weeks ago. For those who haven't, what is it looking like for the season? When do they plan on having that start?
Like you said, Jared, we made the announcement a couple of weeks ago that we're eyeing the December 4th date. I've been really impressed with the ECHL and all the work that Ryan Creelan and everyone at the office is doing, working closely with our team members. As you can imagine, everyone is a different part of the United States, and they're at a different phase, and they're at a different point in the virus. We do feel very optimistic that December 4th is a good date. We're working closely with the arena right now and the ECHL on tweaking our original schedule of October and November. We had an idea that the season was going to get delayed, so that's the reason we didn't release the 2020-21 schedule. So we're working through that right now. The league is working closely with the PHPA on a return to play protocol that involves the players as well. And then internally, it's all systems go at the office right now. We just hired a senior director of ticket sales. We brought back some of our folks who we had to furlough for a little bit of time there. So for us, it's business as usual. Coach Blair is busy at work. Signing players, we talk numerous times during the day. We're searching for an assistant coach as well. So we are very optimistic and hopeful that when December 4th comes here, that we will be playing hockey here at the North Charleston Coliseum or somewhere in the ECHL.
That said, you kind of touched on it a little bit here. What situations on a daily basis do you guys have to work through when you mention, talking with the building in the North Charleston Coliseum? What are some of those things that need to happen so that everybody is safe and that we can play hockey and continue the season next year?
Well, there is a weekly COVID call that the league has. We have another Board of Governors meeting on the 2nd, and we have our preseason meeting on the 15th. So there is constant communication between members and the ECHL and the building. I think right now, Jared, we're monitoring the virus, and as is everybody, you know what I mean? And I think that is dictating or can dictate a lot as to what we can do. We are trying to talk and with the Coliseum and internally on what we need to do when we return to play with the Coliseum. We're entering the Coliseum, ticketing, concessions, testing for the players, how their apartments are going to be situated, what our expectations of them are going to be. But in the meantime, I think as of right now, we could play in the arena with 250 people or 50% with a waiver. Our hope is that we, at some point here in the next couple months, will apply for that waiver, and I don't see why we wouldn't be able to get that waiver. And then ultimately, it will come down to probably some work between our ticket staff and the box office here and the Coliseum to figure social distancing and where our season ticket holders will sit and things like that. It's not anything that anyone has ever done before, so it's my first time going through this. We've talked to other teams in the league who see how they're handling it. So I think we're in good shape right now, and our hope is that the numbers continue to go down. Our hope is that we're able to get the place rocking here again at the North Charleston Coliseum in December.
Also got a couple questions about promotions. Promotions, whether it's from last season's promotional calendar that didn't happen or the upcoming season's promotional calendar, specifically on Pink in the Rink night, obviously a very popular night for us every year. Do we have a plan on rescheduling that and kind of making up for the one we didn't have last year?
Yeah, so we played 28 home games last year. We lost 8. Pink in the Rink was one of those games. It's a game that I think everyone circles on their calendar. Our community partner with that event is Share Our Susie. They're wonderful people, and like a lot of other businesses and nonprofits during these times, they've been affected by the COVID. They haven't been able to. They didn't have their event with the Stingrays. They weren't able to have their annual gala as well. So yes, Pink in the Rink is something that we'd love to do next year. We've definitely worked closely in the office and identifying some theme nights and some promo nights that we want to do for the 2021 season. So I think once we get the schedule and figure out our schedule, then we will plug in some of these promo nights. But Pink in the Rink is definitely one that can relate. A lot of people can relate to, and it's one that we'll probably make sure that we do for sure.
Got a question from a new fan that was unsure. How long has Rob Concannon been with the Stingrays?
I came here in '95 to play, '95 to 2000, and then I was a realtor, I was a firefighter, I owned a bar, and then I became the president of the Stingrays about 10 years ago. So I feel like I've been a part of the team for about 15 years, but I've been in Charleston for 25. So during that time frame that I wasn't a part of the team as a player, as a president, I was definitely here supporting the team.
Another question from a new ticket holder. A shout out to Andrew Rice. A guy moved here from Kalamazoo. He was a fan of the K-Wings in Kalamazoo, but now a season ticket holder for the Stingrays, and saw that the Hershey Bears have signed a goaltender at Washington with a signing of Zach Fucali, who played in our league previously. Was wondering about ECHL goalies, if there's going to be any ECHL contracts to goalies this season.
Yeah. It's a good question. Every year I feel like we're fortunate. We usually bring a couple goalies to training camp on a tryout, and I would anticipate we would do something like that this year. We have a great relationship with the Hershey Bears and with the Washington Capitals, and over the past numerous years, we've been fortunate where a couple guys have been, Parker Milner, most recently has been with us for a couple of years, and he's been slotted in as a depth goalie for Hershey and for Washington. So that meant that Parker would spend his time in Charleston, which I don't think he minded at all. And every year it varies in terms of opportunities, sometimes with injuries, with call-ups, and with trades and other things like that. That will dictate how a goalie can move or moves up in the depth chart and in an organization. But we anticipate that we'll probably have a couple goalies that are under 2-way or 1-way contracts with Hershey. But being August and a lot that can happen from now until August and December, we usually shed on the side of caution, and we'll look at a couple of other players that, we had Billy Christopoulos last year. Was a unique situation. We brought him to training camp as well, and he wound up, we because of, no movement in Parker and Thompson going up and down. You know, Billy was the third goalie. We thought it was best for him in his career to kind of see if there was a spot we could move him to. He went to Toledo, and we wound up making the all-rookie team. So it's always a unique situation when you get into that with the goalies and with some of the other players. But that's the plan for right now.
We mentioned that the season is not starting until at least December. We mentioned, you know, all the promotions and everything, but another question we're getting a lot is, would we play the season without fans? Is that an option? Fans want to make sure that they want to see their players in action. Is that something we would consider to play games without fans?
Not only for the Stingrays, Jared, but for every team in the ECHL. That would be a very difficult task to accomplish. We in the ECHL's teams and members rely on ticket revenue and corporate partnership revenue and group tickets and other forms of revenue streams that keep the business going and keep the doors open. So I think it would be very difficult for us to field a team and to play in an empty North Charleston Coliseum with all the other expenses that go into it, salary, apartments, and the amount of money it costs to play at the North Charleston Coliseum.
That said, for fans who may not have a ticket package, are we selling any tickets for next season? Are we? You mentioned we have some staff back in the office. If you haven't gotten tickets yet, are we taking ticket deposits?
Yeah, well, right now we're working on our renewal campaign. When we went thin a little bit there for a while, I'm sure there was some folks that weren't able to be reached out to. So that's what they're doing right now. They're actually reaching out to some season ticket holders, talking to them about the renewal process, and we've had a good couple weeks here once we got everyone back in action here. At some point, I think we'll step into the selling the new tickets. Not having a schedule. It's pretty tough to kind of call people and ask them if they wanted to buy season tickets. We are having those discussions in the office. We are having some training and some boot camp with the staff, some things that that probably haven't been done in a while, and because they were out for a little bit period of time, we started working on them with that. And then we'll look at the group tickets, and we'll look at the season tickets and things like that, and come up with a plan at some point here in the next couple months to move forward. I think if we get a schedule, the sooner we get a schedule, then we'll be able to kind of make those phone calls. And plus, because of COVID, we've tried to be sensitive and try to be respectful of the situation and not trying to call people and sell hockey tickets during a time where some people may be in tough situations.
We had some big news recently, a new unveiling of the team's red jersey, a new look for the team, and obviously very similar to what the Washington Capitals are wearing. How did that come about? How did that look come to fruition, and what was it like working with the Capitals on that?
Well, in 2016-17, we actually had a red jersey that the team wore that year. We had the red, white, and blue gloves like the Caps and the socks. And the fans and the coaching staff and the players, they really, really liked it. When it came time that year to choose a dark jersey to play in the playoffs, the guys chose the red jerseys. We wound up losing 4-0 to Colorado in the finals, but that was a jersey that the guys really, really enjoyed and really liked wearing. The fans really rallied around them as well. So, a couple of years ago, we talked, worked closely with Cam and see if there was something we could do. Reached out to the Capitals to get approval from them. They were all on board with it. And we just thought it was something that, freshened things up. There's a lot of hockey fans in the Charleston area. There's a lot of Capitals fans in the Charleston community. So we felt like this may be a way to remind them or to let them know that they have a local minor league hockey team here in town that's been in the finals 5 times and won 3 Kelly Cup championships and has a history of guys being promoted to the AHL and the NHL. and it gives us a little bit of a fresh look, and hopefully can generate some merchandise revenue as well along the way there. So we're really excited about having those, and of course being affiliated with the Caps, we're proud of that affiliation, and if we can align ourselves any way possible with a jersey or another promo, we'd love to do that.
Red jerseys, of course, are on sale now at the Stingrays online store. Head to stingrayshockey.com to grab yours today. And Rob, finally got a question about Coach Blair.
Yeah.
He's been working really hard. There's been a lot of player signings that have been announced. What's it been like for you to work with him in this new position for him? Obviously, you guys had a great familiarity last year with him being part of the staff, but what have you seen from him so far in his first few months as head coach?
He's doing a terrific job. I mean, it's funny to compare him to some of the other coaches before him, and he's right up there. He's working extremely hard. He's always reaching out. He's got the questions. He's always wants to check in, but he's doing a great job, and we know he's going to do a great job. He's very, very hungry. When you have a season like you did last year, I think the benchmark is set pretty high, and that's what we've looked at, so to speak. So we know it's harder to do than it looks like, but we'd love to get as many guys back as possible. But we already know that some with retirement in Europe and guys moving on, that's probably not going to happen. But I can tell you that I've been really impressed with his work ethic. He's excited to get down here once things settle down a little bit, and I would anticipate that he'll do a great job recruiting a team that our fans will be excited about, one that they'll be proud of, and it'll be similar to how the brand of hockey that we've been successful with playing over the last 27 years.
Well, Rob, thanks very much for taking a few minutes out of your time. We thank the fans who submitted questions and a lot of things that Rob had to go over, but he did a great job. And we want to once again thank AAA and Finn's Car Wash for all of their help and support. We will be talking to everybody soon as we continue to move forward. And thanks a lot, Rob.
Thanks, Jeff.